Hilery, I'm so happy to have you on the show today. We've known
Thank
each
you.
other for many years. I still remember the day you taught me how to teach an abs class, and that was at Boston Sports Club Fenway. I think I was a freshman in college. Uh, and obviously, we've both come a long way, but I definitely looked up to you as the leader of the gym and participating in group exercise. And you totally laughed at my lack of ab strength at the time. But I'm so happy that you didn't give up on me and you said, okay, you're going to get it. You just have to practice all the time and you're going to do it every day.
And
So
you got it, right?
I
Like
did get it. And it made a huge difference in my life. I know we haven't spoken in a long time, but you're such an expert in the health and fitness world that I had to reconnect with you, and it just seemed like the perfect time. So, thank you for giving me your time today and the other day when we caught up and
Yeah.
talked about everything you're up to now and everything I'm up to now. So now I wanna know, you told me the other day that you moved to El Salvador.
Yes. So we moved here a year and a half ago, just about. Well, not quite, I guess. We moved September 1st, 2021. And it came out of the blue. It was a really quick decision and quick move because my boyfriend Roberto had quit his job and didn't know what he was going to do with his life. And I was right near the end of a Dharma coaching certification that was all about like helping people find their life purpose and like not be in a soul sucking job and do
Mm.
something that like inspires you and that's fun and enjoyable. So we did a practice coaching session on him and he was like the perfect target client, right? And when we asked him like what actually brings you joy, like what lights you up and makes you feel like you're having fun, like it's not an effort. And he said that it was really when he was bringing people together around the dinner table, cooking, having a good time, making people feel like family and just making lasting memories. And so a few hours later, all of a sudden, like he came out of the bathroom and was like, I've got it. We're going to move to El Salvador and open a retreat center. So I immediately, and we were living in Boston at the time. Actually, he was living in Boston. I was living in New York City doing like a live in contract with a client there.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was like, well, let me Google it. So I Googled travel to El Salvador and the internet basically said you're going to be murdered. And I was like, there's no way I can bring clients here. Like everyone's going to do the same thing that I just did. And he was like, no, no, no. There's like a new president. Everything's changed. Everything's different. And I'm like, well, you got to prove it. So
Yeah.
we're going to El Salvador like this weekend. And he was like, I don't know. And I was like, no, like I only have the next week off. So if we're going to go, like, let's go now, prove it, and make sure it's a valid idea versus like dreaming about something that we don't even know is valid. So we immediately, that was on a Tuesday, and Saturday we were flying to El Salvador. And so we definitely fell in love with the country and we went to visit his aunt here and she had a beach property just sitting here that she never uses. She hadn't even been to in like 3 years and she only lives like 45 minutes away.
Wow,
We're
that
like,
is
yeah, we told her like our idea and everything. She's like, oh, you should go check out the property and see if, like if it would be a good fit for what you guys want to do. And so before we left, we came, checked out the property, and it was like perfect. It's right on the ocean. It had like a big platform in the middle of the property. The roof had fallen off and everything. So we knew like there was some renovations to do, but it was like the perfect yoga platform, like just perfect. It was just like, this is just like meant to be. And everything just fell into place after that. We were gone for 2 weeks and then we started the renovations. We came back in 2 weeks for 2 weeks and started the renovations. And then we just packed up our lives in Boston for like a month and then we moved. So it was a very like quick 2 month life changing decision.
so why do people always think that something like that is so hard when it can be so easy?
I think it's anytime we're stepping out of our comfort zone, it seems like this huge big deal. And people tend to like to stay safe. And that's just our brains functioning primarily is like the ego part of the brain, the lower brain is like trying to keep us alive. And
Right.
anytime there's change, it's like, you're going to die. It's like, I'm going to start a diet tomorrow. Don't do that. You're going to die. Like it will
Mm.
always try to like keep you safe. It likes what it knows best. So it's just one of those things that then that also plays into how all of our friends and families' brains work. So they don't want you to leave and move and totally do a life-changing thing because they want to keep you safe too. So I think it's both like our own brain trying to keep us safe, but then also the opinions of our family and friends that they're not generally supportive of big ideas like this because they want to keep us safe. So
That affects our brain more.
yeah, people just think it's just too big of a dream or too grand or they're just afraid to step
Too
out of the
unknown.
comfort zone. It's the great unknown. You have no idea what could happen. That makes people stay in the comfort zone.
But that's
Big
also the best part. I'm gonna ask you about what led up to that, but you can't heal in an environment that made you sick. I don't know who first said that, but I think about that a lot because I've lived in different places and I can always really feel the difference in what feels easy and what
yeah.
feels weighted down and just why is this so difficult? I think sometimes people wonder, well, why did you get into this field? Did you have someone in your family who was in the same field or did anyone
Mhm.
influence you? How did you get into fitness?
Fitness was kind of it's a bit of a lifelong journey. When I was a little girl, I used to get up at like 6 a.m. and do Mousercise on the Disney Channel before I went to school. And I got like my first like big year weights and workout Barbie doll like for my sixth Christmas, I think, or fifth Christmas or something. So I've always been into fitness in some way. And my dad
Mhm.
was super into sports. And that's really why I got into the fitness industry is that when I was 6, he had brain cancer and he had like a 15-year journey with brain cancer. That
Wow.
was really intense. And when I was 6, the doctors gave him 6 months to live. And at that point, he promised to see me graduate from high school. He was a very determined, stubborn person. I had a letter from one of his doctors. It's like, I have no idea why he's still alive, but he's very stubborn.
Oh, or smart. Get around, shall we?
Yes. When I was 21, a couple weeks after I turned 21, he died. And at that point, like I was going to Suffolk University in Boston for entrepreneur studies. I was like walking through the common, going to class one day, and I was just like, I wonder how I can like honor my dad with what I do with my life.
Yeah.
And he was always into sports. He was like a baseball umpire, he was a basketball coach, he was a basketball referee, he was into football. He was just a really big sports guy
He
and
was
coaching
into
kids. Yeah, it was all sports all the time growing up. I didn't have that same interest in like coaching and kids,
Mm.
but I was like, fitness is something I've always been into. And when I was a teenager, I was growing too fast and my joints were dislocating all the time. And so my doctor made me start personal training when I was 14. After that, I never had another joint dislocation again. I feel like my whole entire life has been on my path the entire time, but my dad was really like a primary motivator. And even my mom too, when I was a teenager and working out with a personal trainer, she ended up becoming a personal trainer. And
Wow.
so I was going to the gym after school every day, like to go hang out and work in the gym. And so it was just like my whole life path has really like just supported being in fitness and wellness.
You're so good at it. I remember when I met you, you were my boss technically in at least the group exercise aspect
Yeah.
when I was a young budding personal trainer. And I just felt like you had such a sense of responsibility with the position. I think there's having been in the fitness world myself since then, I've seen and you've probably seen a lot of phony-ish kind of people who claim to be gurus and there's more of a superficial vibe to a lot of people you see out there, but Hillary, my goodness, is the most professional, rounded, well-researched, just straightforward person, and it's almost like if you can't handle the truth, don't sign up with Hillary. She is not gonna tell you what you wanna hear. She's gonna tell you what you need, and to me, that's the most valuable, and I'm really glad I didn't quit. When you told me I had to teach abs classes and I felt like a failure, you said, "No, you're gonna do it." I thought she's a great leader because I'm someone who needs someone like you in that you're not gonna actually make fun of me or give up on me. And you sort of see the whole path, I think, of someone's trajectory rather than judging them. I think you don't judge at all.
I hear that all the time.
I bet you do. And that's really valuable.
And I think
It
it's all about meeting people where they're at on their journey. I always look at fitness and nutrition and healing in general as like part of our personal evolution here. And so even if like you're you get into working out, right?
Mhm.
But you're like eating pizza and drinking alcohol. Eventually, you start to
I
fix
did
your
that also,
diet.
but it was cauliflower pizza, and
See, that's
hated our
different. Generally, you get on one path and then slowly you start to open up to different things. And it's like you're not just overnight going to become like this vegan, super yogi power lifter, all the things, juggling all the balls. Everyone's at a different place on their journey. And it's about understanding that and meeting them where they're at, not with all the expertise, what I think they should be at or something like that. Everyone has different goals. And I think, like what you were saying, like I'm very straightforward. You have your personal goals that you want to achieve, but there's also things you need to do. So, like with abs, you need a foundation,
Mhm.
right? If you can't hold plank for 10 seconds, then why are you doing 100 crunches? Like
Yeah.
there's certain progressions. That's what it's all about, is just meeting people where they're at on their journey and being respectful of that and like honoring what they want and also giving them what they need.
Right, like, when you taught me how to teach the class, you said, "Make sure you plan front, abs, rectus, the
Yeah.
back, lower back, and then
Yeah.
the side, obliques." And then what was the 4th one? That was 3, right? I think the glute
I
was the other one.
Yeah, we always used to do, I think, the rectus abdominis, but we'd focus on like upper abs, lower abs,
Mm,
obliques, and lower back,
yeah.
and the transverse abdominis, the foundation.
Right, and thinking of it that way for me made it easier for me to teach others because there was more of a flow to it, knowing, "Okay, we're gonna cover these 4 parts,
Yeah.
and they all matter, so we're not gonna one-side this lesson today and have you all lopsided."
Yeah, and I've had that like the P90X ab workout is so much of the same muscle again and again and again that you end up using the hip flexors and you're not even using your abs. So
Oh,
it's like,
yeah,
so,
that's the problem.
like, so there's like a method to my madness. And I think that is the problem with the personal training industry sometimes, is that it's like all about kicking your ass and
Yeah.
making you feel like you got a good
My ass is
workout.
already kicked all day from
But
emotions.
well, that's the thing. People go to the gym to outrun their emotions.
Right, and you said something that really hit home for me, and I think what I would like all of my patients to know too, which is you said something about if you're going to the gym to outrun your emotions, guess what? They're still going to be there. Your workout should be enjoyable to you where you are,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you also have emotions and past experiences that are connected to your body, they're in your body, and you have to acknowledge them or you're still going to keep, feeling hurt or suboptimal or like you're not progressing in your workouts. How do you help someone realize that and get there, so to speak?
I think everyone's kind of, like I said, on their own journeys. It's sometimes it's just you're not ready, right? Like we all have to be ready to heal. And I think it's first about that awareness that, yeah, every time I'm stressed or upset, I go to the gym. Well, that's because you want the endorphins that come out on the other side of your workout. You're looking for a high. You're using it as an escape mechanism instead of actually uh, dealing with your emotions, confronting
Yeah.
the issue, sitting with it, figuring out a resolution, communicating what you need to say or setting boundaries or whatever the issue is. You're just always trying to outrun your problems. So it's more about having the awareness that like there's something underneath that all. There's a reason why you're escaping. There's a reason why you're trying to numb your emotions and get rid of them and move forward. And there is no such thing. Like that's just repression. You're suppressing and repressing things. And whenever you do that, it just festers. And so that can end up causing limiting beliefs. It can keep you stuck in like really bad habits and bad patterns. And eventually can lead to illness and disease. Like if you let it fester long enough, it literally festers in your cells. So it's more about building awareness that our emotions aren't this big, scary thing. Like I always joke people are like willing to watch horror movies, but they can't sit with themselves and be still for 15 minutes. Why is this so scary to like sit with our sadness or our grief or our pain and dig into it and get curious about it? One of the best things I actually learned in a life coaching certification is that like emotions are just energy in motion and they only last for about 90 seconds. So if you actually truly allow yourself to feel absolutely horrible or whatever it is, like deep sadness, grief, loss, heartache, like just really allow yourself to feel it, 90 seconds it will move on. But if you
Wow.
continually feed into it, then you'll continue. But if you just like sit there and like allow yourself to have all the feelings and just lean into it instead of trying to like, it's all the American way is like muscle up, doesn't matter. Your dad died, go back to work on Monday, don't care. You're just
Yeah.
supposed to swallow everything down and keep moving forward, keep busy, you'll forget about it. Time heals all wounds, blah, blah, blah. Time doesn't heal anything. You just get used to the pain. It's not going to solve your problems. Everyone has a healing journey to go on. We have to face ourselves. And I think it's more having that awareness. There's no like one size fits all strategy, just like exercise and nutrition, like healing is its own. There's something for everyone, but it's up to you to start getting curious and discovering what that path is for you.
And what you just said, that the pain doesn't go away, you just end up getting used to it, that really hit me hard because you can get really worn down. I don't think there is a disconnect between physical and emotional pain. I think they're always connected. Pretty sure that's been
Yeah.
proven. It's not possible for them to not be connected physiologically. For example, as a woman or a female athlete, I've been through this myself and I've heard it from many other women I talk to a lot. And having an injury, especially something like a hip injury, you hear a lot of, "Oh, I don't understand your pain. Go to somebody else," or "You're probably just pregnant. Go to your gynecologist." And then it delays your care, right? And it's super frustrating because eventually you do find someone who understands your pain and validates your existence, essentially. And that feels like such a weight being lifted off of you when that happens. And I want to emphasize what you said about getting used to it in that you don't want to get used to it. You know,
No.
I think for something like a loss that you had with your father, I think you kind of over time probably just feel different about it because it never goes away. You're always going to feel pain about that, but the fact that you're incorporating what his life passion was into your life passion and then spreading it literally to the whole world in a positive meaningful way, you're taking pain away from yourself and all of these other people, and that's something, I don't know if you can get used to that, but that's something to celebrate.
Yeah. And like on my healing journey, I still did a lot of work with my feelings and emotions with my dad and past memories and forgiveness and different healing work around him that now I feel totally different than I did probably 5 years ago. So that one of the things I didn't realize, and I feel like this should be common knowledge, and I don't feel like I'm the only one that didn't know this or doesn't know this, but that if you look back on an event from your past and you still feel an emotional connection, it makes you feel sad, it makes you feel upset, stressed, worried, angry, whatever, it means you haven't forgiven. I had no idea. And so, generally, if something's healed and forgiven, you look back on it and it's just this thing that happened. There's no emotions tied to it, they're gone. And so, I didn't know that until I had done a lot of forgiveness work. One of the trainings I did was in aromatherapy. And they said it was aromatherapy for medical conditions. And they said, if all else fails, do the forgiveness protocol.
I'm dying to know what it is.
Interesting. And so when I talked to my doctor, I had like 8 different illnesses, and I was like, which one do I do? Like, I don't know where to start. And he was like, start with forgiveness. And he's like, and let your intuition help you guide you on the other 2 protocols you want to do each week. So it's like, all right. And I started with forgiveness, and it was really life changing, insanely life changing. So
I need to know
yeah.
every detail of what you did because everybody needs to know how to forgive. I think everyone's
Yeah.
holding on to something.
Oh yeah. I think with forgiveness it is different for everyone. The thing I was doing was working with essential oils and aromatherapy. And so the protocol is just like using 10 different essential oils in a certain sequence. But during that time, like I did it, I was thinking about like the event that I wanted to heal and like reliving it. And so trying to go through the exact situation that happened, just visualizing it all. And then with like inner child healing, you're literally trying to go back to that time and give yourself what you wish you would have had in that moment.
Mm.
So it's more about like your adult self honoring the inner child and what they needed and nurturing them in that way, and then it just helps you kind of heal that wounded inner child, and then it's kind of like everything shifts.
So, can you give me an example? It doesn't have to be about you.
I'll give you the first one that I did. Was I actually had gotten into an argument with my dad when I was 14. He was still living at home, and he had gotten his driver's license revoked because he had half his skull plate missing. His cognitive function was very impaired. He didn't have good reaction time for driving and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
so I'd come home from school and the car was gone.
Mm.
And I was so upset. I was worried and stressed and just frustrated with the situation. Actually, I was 12 when this happened. And when he got home, I yelled at him. I told him he was an a-hole for putting other people's lives at risk on the road, and that
Yeah.
he was a jerk. And I'd never sworn at him before or anything.
So
So it
that
was just
really
like,
did
number
something to
one,
you.
yelling at him and swearing at him. And then what happened is he immediately packed his bags, left, checked into a hotel down the street. And then when my mom got home, she found a hospital for him to go live at permanently. And
Wow.
so after that argument, he never lived at home again. It's not like I felt like I was the reason he didn't live at home or anything. Like
No, that
I
was such
wasn't,
an
you
extreme
know, like,
reaction he had.
yeah, he had severe brain cancer.
No idea
That's
that
it.
would do
Yeah.
this.
So, yeah, after that, and he had to go to a veterans hospital. He had brain cancer from being in Vietnam. And so the veterans hospital was about 2 hours away from our house. So when I say he didn't live
Oh,
at home anymore, it was like he didn't even live in our town anymore. So it was just like a big change. And so there's obviously some guilt there. That was the first forgiveness protocol I did, and I didn't even know where to begin, but I just like leaned into my intuition. I was like, well, this makes me feel like a little bit of guilt, so let me try healing this. And so I thought about it, and the first step is to put rose oil on your heart and say,
mm,
like, I'm ready to forgive. And then you put geranium oil on your liver which metabolizes everything. So it's like I'm ready to process through this and
Yeah.
let it all out of my body. And then as I was going through the other oils, I was like remembering everything that happened in the argument, how it happened when he walked through the door, what was said, everything that happened. And then afterwards, what I wish I would have had as a resolution instead of sitting in that unknown discomfort where my mom's just on the phone making phone calls all night, my dad's gone, and I'm just sitting there like, what's going on? So nurturing my inner child and just like forgiving myself and letting go, forgiving my dad, forgiving myself, forgiving my mom, and just letting everything go and trying to like heal that little child and support and nurture her in the way that I wish I would have been in that moment. And so I cried like the entire time I was doing it. And then like afterwards I felt more at peace with things, but the huge transition was the next day. I woke up in the morning and I got out of the shower and I started looking at myself in the mirror, and I hadn't realized that I had never looked at myself in the mirror in like 20 years.
Really?
Yeah. I never make eye contact in the mirror. It's just like this, make sure there's
Oh.
nothing in your teeth and get the F out of the bathroom. I am not a girly girl in any way. All of a sudden, I was like staring in my own eyes and I was like, have I actually been ashamed to look at myself in the mirror like all these years? Like, is this where it came from? And then, like, I just started like moisturizing and doing all this self care. I don't moisturize, like, I don't need it. Self care isn't really my thing. It's like, it was just like all of a sudden effortless. And so I realized like how much guilt and shame I had been carrying around for like all that time, like 20 years. And it was just kind of like, holy crap, everything just shifted. It was just insane. And it didn't
It's like
like
a
help.
part of your brain opened up for you to be able to use and not have to
Yeah.
think about it.
Yeah. So whenever
Wow.
you're suppressing something, you're literally suppressing like a part of your brain. It's like
Yeah.
part of you isn't functioning as a whole. And that's what I found, like the more things I healed, like after that first experience, I got not addicted, but I was just like, okay, I'm going to do something every week to let go of the past. And it didn't really start to heal my physical body at all, but I started feeling just this freedom in my mind. Like everything was lighter. It was like a peace of mind that was just within me at all times. It's like you're literally carrying all this baggage and you have no idea because you've been carrying it so long. It's like when you lose 30 pounds and then your trainer's like, okay, go pick up that 30-pound dumbbell. Like that's what you were carrying around all these years. And you're like,
It
what?
hits you
This
in.
is so heavy. We just get so used to being wounded that we don't know what it's like to feel whole. And that's, I think, why it becomes so silly. Like once you've done healing work, that you're like, why is everyone so afraid of this? What do they think is going to happen? Like you can only feel better.
That's true. I mean,
It's,
for you, when in that one example, giving yourself what you needed when you were 12,
yeah.
just so people understand, how long did that process take once you decided to do it?
My gosh, it was probably like 20 minutes, maybe 30 at the most.
So it really doesn't involve
You
that
know,
much
like
time. It just has
no.
to happen.
Yeah, just and that's the thing. It's intentional. That's why I say like you can't outrun it at the gym. You can't escape it.
Right.
You can't let time heal all wounds. It doesn't heal them. It's like two things happen. You get used to the pain and your memory sucks. So your memory like begins to not feel as intense towards it. But when you reflect back and look at it, then all those emotions come right back up, right? So it's like your memory does feel as intense, you just become numb to it in a way.
So you also told me about I'm really interested in this because I've been very active in sports and been injured a lot. And a lot of my patients and clients have lots of orthopedic injuries, military injuries,
Yeah.
emotional injuries. And you said something to me that I thought was so fascinating, that there's a masculine side of the body and a feminine side of the body. And I feel like I want to know more about that. It's so
So
interesting.
And in general, an injury comes along in our life when we need to slow down and face something. It is kind of a subconscious wake up call of like, okay, you're going to have to like lay in bed and be laid up and not be able to go run and do all the things you love to do to keep yourself busy and distracted from the things you need to heal. So now I'm going to force you to lay in bed so you have plenty of time to heal. But then nobody does the healing work anyways. They just
Mhm.
focus on the physical ailment. But subconsciously, so we have the left side of our body is the feminine side. And this is even like within yogic philosophy, the alternate nostril breathing. If you only breathe in and out through your
Yeah.
left nostril, it's cold air. If you only breathe in and out through the right, it's hot air. So the left side is cooling, it's feminine, it's the feminine emotions of like grief, shame, sadness. It can relate to females in our life. So I find a lot of men have knots in their left butt cheek. A lot of women have knots in their right butt cheek because they literally have a male or female that's a pain in the ass. And then the right side is the masculine side. So it's more about anger, greed, hatred, jealousy. It's the more masculine type of emotions. It's hot, it's more intense and strong.
It makes me think
So,
Wall Street for some reason.
yeah, pretty much. It's true. Yeah, our body is always divided, so it's talking to us in different ways if we'll pay attention. I actually had a client, it was funny, we were out for a run one morning and it was a group of girls and she like ran around a telephone pole to jump out and scare us. And when she did it, she fell off the curb and broke her
Oh
ankle.
my gosh.
And so I got talking to her as we are going back to the gym, and I was like, "What's going on in your life? But is there anything happening like with a man? Because it was her right ankle, and
Yeah.
the ankle is kind of like moving forward in life, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, is there something going on with your boyfriend? You're hesitant to move forward with him, or what's going on?" She was like, "Oh my God, yes." And this actually happened 2 years ago. We were in Nicaragua at the time. She
Mm.
had gone lava boarding and
What is that?
you can go snowboarding down like the lava volcanoes, like the dark, not hot lava, but like
Oh, okay. That doesn't
black,
scare me.
the black lava. So she'd done that and she like bumped into the person in front of her and broke her ankle. And at that time, she was also going through relationship problems. And so it
Wow.
was just like one of those things that it was just like, wow, every client I have, whether it's massage or training, we start to go through the injuries and the surgeries and stuff. And there's always the subconscious connections tend to always line up. I've really come to have a strong belief in them, even though at first I was a little skeptical. But every single symptom you have is generally a sign of something underneath it all. Even something like laryngitis can be you're not willing to speak up about something, you're suppressing your own voice. So you
Mhm.
literally lose your voice. An ear infection or tinnitus or anything like that is like there's something you don't want to hear or you're trying to avoid even like your own inner thoughts. You don't want to hear your own thoughts. Pink eye is there's something you don't want to see. Urinary tract infection, you're pissed off about something. So it's just like all these little things, like they make so much logical sense when you think about it, but not everybody wants to acknowledge that that's what's going on in their lives.
Well, it's a great way to get a clue about what's going on if you're not aware of it or willing to be aware of it in the first place.
Yeah.
And another great place to become aware of these things is your retreat center. It sounds
Yes.
in El Salvador. You obviously studied entrepreneurship and it shows. So tell us about your retreat center. I think this is fascinating and I was looking at your website and it just looks so relaxing.
Yes, I know. We actually have a good sized family here right now. There's 12 people, and they were just telling me like how lovely it is, and they're like, it's just so peaceful and calm. And he's like, we're actually laughing all the time, but we're so relaxed, you probably can't hear us. So we have a 5 bedroom retreat center that's on a private beach. So when you go out to the beach, you don't see any other people. You're just there by yourself, pretty much. There are some other houses on the beach, but the people in El Salvador don't really go to their beach houses. So we generally only see people on New Year's and Easter. And other than that, the beach is like totally quiet.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, it's hot here though. Most of them live in San Salvador, which is about 45 minutes away. And because it's so much higher in elevation, it's about 10 to 15 degrees cooler than it is here. So
Oh,
they
that must
just
be nice.
like to stay in their cool climate and don't come down to the beach.
Degrees because it's 95 where you are?
Yeah, it's usually 90. It's generally 90 at least every day. It depends on the season.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's 93 and sometimes it's 88, but
So
it is always nice and warm here. It only rains at night here in the rainy season, so that's actually really nice. The weather never interferes with your plans. We have 5 bedrooms here, and then we're also managing the house next door, which is another house that's 6 bedrooms. So sometimes we do big retreats. We have one in February that we're using both properties for. So there's multiple options, and we really do specialized retreats. So everything we do is customized. Roberto's a great chef, and so he customizes the menu to exactly what your food preferences, allergies, all of that stuff is. And then there's so much to see in El Salvador. Activity wise, we like to see like, how much rest do you want to get right now? Our guests here right now are alternating days. So one day they're going out on adventures, and then the next day they're like chilling on the property and just like laying in the hammocks and enjoying the beach and the pool.
I like
And
that.
then the next day they go back and go on another adventure. So everyone's different with what they like. And so we really just kind of, again, meet people where they're at and try to make sure they have everything they need to have a good time. They just need to, sit on a call with us for about 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how many people are in the group, and chat about what are the food preferences and allergies, what is your life like at home, so we get an idea of stress levels and things like that. Are there any injuries, health problems? What kind of wellness services do you want any healing work? Or I do cacao ceremonies and fire ceremonies and
Ooh.
different things like that. So there's just kind of like getting a good idea of what they're looking for. And then most people don't even care. Like they don't even care what the plan is. They just show up and we have everything planned for them so that they can just lay back, relax, and know that they're going to be taken care of and have a good time.
Can you tell just by looking at someone what they might need help with?
Generally, I mean, there's a lot I can tell about a person through like Ayurveda. With that, you're looking at people's like the elements that make them up. So you can kind of see what might be out of balance for them and how to
Yeah.
nurture them better.
How do you figure that out?
Um,
I really don't know much about it, but I've always known that it could be really helpful.
so generally with Ayurveda, there's like a questionnaire that you go through and just take like a quiz. Is really the best idea to get the total picture of it. But generally, what I do to look at people, like the easiest trait is the bone structure. The
Interesting.
tiny bone structure tends to be vata, medium bone structure is pitta, and the big bone structure is kapha. So vata is air, pitta is fire, kapha is earth. So it's kind of becomes
Like
very
some
logical.
examples.
Yeah. So somebody that's like really well known kapha is Oprah Winfrey. She's the
Okay.
earth type. So she's got a big bone structure, right? She has more like wavy hair. She has really big round features, oily skin. The tone of her voice sounds like she has more earth in her, right? They usually have
Right,
like a
it's very
deeper,
masculine.
a boisterous voice. I also look at hands, the big lumberjack hands.
What was her
So she's the earth, kapha.
kappa? Okay.
So with them, like their downfall when they're out of balance is like lethargy. They get lazy.
Okay.
They're very
It's hard to picture
cons-
Oprah lazy.
I would consider them like a bear in their den and they don't want to come out. They get like
Mhm.
stubborn. They just want to eat like heavy foods, fried foods, creamy dairy foods.
Yeah.
So it's like they need more stimulation.
And is that good for them to hibernate and have creamy foods?
No, they really shouldn't eat those at all. It's
Okay.
always going to throw off their system. They really need more spicy foods and like light foods. So they need to eat basically like what the air types shouldn't eat because they need more air moving through them. They need the circulation, right? Like you think about
Okay.
anything that's moving, there's air helping it move. They want to eat lighter things that aren't going to weigh them down and cause extra earth elements to come in. And they are really creatures of habit.
Mhm.
So it's hard to get them to step outside their routine. I have a client that's like pure kapha. He lives next to the Arboretum
Yeah.
in Boston, and he never goes. And I'm always
Really?
like,
Uh,
you live across the street, like go for a walk. Just get outside in nature and like go for a walk. But that would just be like so outside his daily routine that he won't go do it. It's hard to get them to step outside their comfort zone even more than anybody else. So
what
those
would
are
the
the
opposite of
types,
that be?
the vata, the air type. So the
Okay.
air, I always call them the airheads because if they're out of balance, they're like, I don't know where my keys are. I don't know what I'm doing. Where am I going? What's going on? Like they're all over the place. But on the good side of that, they can change plans in the flip of a coin. You know, like the winds change and they're like, oh no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this instead. And you're like,
Yeah.
wait, what? So it's kind of nice. It can be fun to be with them because they are like easily adaptable. They tend to be more creative. They have thin bone structure. They usually have like sharper features. They're really made of air and space, so their skin tends to be dry. Like they have to moisturize. Hair's dry, nails dry and brittle. They would tend towards constipation. Um, because there's no water, right? So everything's just drying out.
The water.
It's not a heavy influence in their body. So
So do they need to seek out more hydrating foods?
yeah, and for them it's really about grounding them back down to earth. So they want to eat root vegetables, they want to eat like stews and roasted vegetables, soups. Berto is a vata, and I mean, it's 90 degrees here, and he's making soup like 3 meals a day. I'm like, oh
Oh my
my
god.
God, so
Really hot.
hot. So, they really like their soups, and our daily activities can throw us off on this stuff too. So when you travel, when you're up in an airplane, where are you in? Air. You're literally flying through the air. And so it takes you all off course. And that when you land is another time you should have a soup or roasted vegetables, just something to ground you back down. We always have these elements at play. You guys are, well, the Northeast is in Bata season right now, fall turning into winter.
Very
Leaves are drying up, the
specifically.
winds are picking up. We have these elements outside of us and inside of us. So it's always about like finding what's out of balance and trying to bring it into balance. So with them, they're just so flighty that it's like, okay, how do we ground you down?
So it's kind of like everyone has a piece of each aspect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but a
Maybe the
dominant
more
one.
dominant feature.
Yeah, I'm the fire. So
Uh-huh.
I am Pitta. So Pittas tend to have medium bone frame. They can hold muscle really easily. They have like usually red hair, or what also happens, they get premature gray or bald because there's
Mhm.
so much fire. It literally eats the color and then eats the hair. So they tend to either be redhead, really early gray, or bald. They have tend to have like light eyes, and it's a mixture of fire and water. So if you really think about it, it's steam. So they tend to not need to moisturize. Their skin's like always kind of fine, but their issues are they tend to have more inflammation in their body because it's fire, right?
Well, how do you
um
calm that?
Cooling foods, raw foods, so smoothies, shakes, salads, juices, anything that's a more cooling element. So, like, even if you lived in a cold climate and you're a pitta, you could still have hot tea, but you use something like mint or fennel. That's very cooling. There's always like different melons are cooling and we have different spices that are cooling too. So it's
Yeah.
about kind of trying to figure out what that is for them. Yeah, I'm all about my healing journey. My doctors, my acupuncturists, my nutritionists, everybody was trying to get me to eat cooked foods, and I was like so against it, but I did it for a while and it just made me so much worse. I have too much fire, guys. Like I don't feel good eating this. It's not for me. And then in human design, it supported that. My digestion is for cold foods. So it says in the human design system, it tells me not to eat foods warmer than my body temperature. So both
That's so
systems back
interesting.
it up. But it makes such a difference in each season, like summer is pitta season. What does everyone naturally do? They naturally eat more fruit, right? More
Mhm.
salads, more smoothies. Who wants to have smoothies in the wintertime? Not many people, unless you're living in
I
a
do.
pitta environment. If you're living in a pitta environment like Florida, then you still want smoothies, right?
I mean,
So,
I don't care what day it is, I want a nice coffee. And people, for some reason, think that's weird, and I'm like, "You don't drink hot water in in the wintertime, right? You don't go, 'I need to heat up my water to drink it cold.' But
yeah,
why would that be any different with coffee? I wanna drink it right now," is my thing.
makes
I like
sense.
to drink it with a straw so I don't spill it on myself, and because I'm a multitasker.
And the fiery types aren't supposed to have caffeine or alcohol because they're both warming, stimulating things.
Well, we all need a little bit of everything.
It's all about balance, right? Like the 80-20 rule. And like just stick
Yeah.
to what you should do 80% of the time and have that freedom to do what makes you happy 20%.
I know, and I always tell my clients, alcohol doesn't help you with anything except maybe saying hi to someone who you were afraid to say hi to. But other than
Liquid
that,
courage.
yeah, liquid courage. Other than that, if physiologically or athletically, it literally helps nothing. It only causes chaos. But if you want a recommendation, it's tequila. I think I've said that before. Um, only because it tends to be pretty pure. This is not a tequila commercial, by the way. But it doesn't affect the blood sugar as much, and it doesn't taste great, so it's not something you would just suck down really fast, and
Yeah.
that's my goal is if I'm gonna have some alcohol, it needs to be slow and steady because apparently what you're telling me is I shouldn't be having it at all.
Probably not.
Probably not. I agree.
Well, I mean, and I would say so the pitta's inflammation, too much heat, so they don't get constipated, they get diarrhea. And I
Go
find
either way.
most people with alcohol end up not being constipated after. So that can be an indicator that if drinking alcohol is making you have hot symptoms afterwards, then it's probably a sign that your body really doesn't want it. I mean, it doesn't want it anyways, but it
Yeah.
can be fun. It's like, yeah, just honoring. It's all about kind of tuning into your body and like all the subtle cues it's trying to give you because Ayurveda is more about preventing disease. I mean, it can reverse disease, but it's about preventing it. And if you keep your body in balance, then you don't have the accumulation that happens that starts to fester and then turns into disease later on. So Ayurveda has like 7 stages of disease, and in their system, they say like an American doctor won't know until like stage 4 or 5. At
That's
that point, it's too late. So they're all about focused on like keeping the body in balance based on your lifestyle. Because even sports, if you're a pitta, you really shouldn't be running in the middle of the day when the sun's at its peak
Oh, that's
because
so
it's just
accurate. I
right.
avoid the middle of the day like the plague for any activity.
Yeah,
Nope, 10 to
you
2,
know better,
it's not
right?
happening. Yeah.
And so for that's so funny you said that. From 10 to 2 is pitta time.
What does that mean?
So on the clock at the time of day that we're in different phases. For 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. is pitta hours, and 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. is pitta hours, which is why at night, what time do you wake up to pee? 2 a.m. Because the pitta fire has digested everything and metabolized it, and now it's done. 2 a.m. is like usually the bathroom break of the night if people have to go. And then from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. is the vata hours, the air. and 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. So that's why they say like your creative time should be in the afternoon to evening, is like when you shouldn't be as structured. You should just kind of go with the flow more. I think people are
Yes.
naturally right like that, right? You get hit
Yeah.
that midday 2 p.m. and you're just kind of like losing motivation. Well, you're now an airhead and you just don't have the focus. And so
I
in the
accept that.
morning, they say if 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. is the kapha, the earth hours, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. earth hours. What are you doing at night? Settling down, grounding
Mhm.
down, getting lazy, right? Getting into sleep mode. And in the
Watching yoga.
morning, if you don't wake up by 6 a.m., to get up between 6 a.m. and 10 a.m. is going to be much harder because Earth's elements are at their heaviest. So it can make you more sluggish. So in
That's
Ayurveda, they really encourage you to get up by 6 a.m. because after that, it's going to be harder just with the Earth's energy.
wait, is that for a pitta or
No, that's everyone. This is way like the clock works for everybody.
6
So
AM? And that kind of aligns with cortisol.
yeah, so it's all interconnected. All these systems tend to support each other's philosophies. It's just different lens to look at it through.
Yeah, I feel those shifts, or energies, I should say, more and more lately. Like in the morning, I notice I really like to get work done and I'm into it. But then in the afternoon, I'm like, I really just want to go outside.
Yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be something active, but there has to be a shift of my environment of some sort. Um, And it's not really a big meal time for me either. I've noticed eating in the middle of the day, I don't like doing it. It's not that I'm a meal skipper, obviously, but there's something about the energy. I'd rather eat lunch at 2. It's that's funny now. I'm
Yeah.
realizing right off the bat, I'm like, no, I don't really want
It's one of those things. That's why I think like so many of my clients, like once they understand it, they end up loving it. And it's like you end up nurturing people in the way because once you like know what they are, like I know it's funny, like my best friend is Vata, Roberta's Vata. So I'm generally surrounded by a lot of airhead energy. And so if I know she's coming over, then I'm gonna have something warm for her to eat. And like
Oh,
one day
that's so great. I
she
love
came over and we went for a walk and it started getting really windy, which is gonna just make their Vata go even more overboard. So I was like, I think we should turn around now. We went back home and like I made her a big soup and like got her like settled back down. And it's like I don't tell anybody I'm doing this stuff, but it's just like you're just able to nurture people in a way that's truly beneficial for them. And you know how to work with them in different ways. Like I even helped Roberto, he was doing sales, he was working for Audi. And so I started teaching him Ayurveda to help him meet his clients better
Yeah.
because he's such a airheads talk really, really fast because they, you know, like there's just too much wind going through them. And so if he meets up, they're going to be put off with how fast he's talking, right? And
Mm.
he's going to be annoyed by how slow they're talking. So I was like, okay, these are the signs and cues to pick up on. And like, this is what will like make them feel really good. So it's a cool system. There's so much you can do with it.
It sounds like it. So where would you recommend someone like me, is there a book I can learn from that you like?
I feel like trying to think one of Deepak Chopra is like probably the most well-known Ayurvedic influence, but I didn't read a lot of my learning came from living at a yoga ashram for a year. We'd have
Mhm.
guest speakers all the time, so I learned so much from workshops. And then in my Thai massage training, it's actually part of Thai yoga massage because you're able to customize a massage based on somebody's Ayurvedic constitution
What?
so that you're touching them in a way that's actually going to resonate with them better. Then
Give
you
me an
can like
example.
actually do like pitta. I'll go with the fiery types because that's what we are. They're gonna like a more medium. They're medium. Everything's medium. They talk at a medium pace. They move at a medium pace. They're medium bone structure. So it's better to go medium pressure. Now, pittas are very type A. So they're gonna want like, they're gonna be the no pain, no gain, like, "Go just go in deep," and it's like, "No, I know that's what you want, but that's not what you need." But if you went really slow, you're gonna drive them insane because 'cause they're just gonna be
Yeah.
like, "Oh my god, like, can you come on,
'Cause
I'm
then your mind
waiting."
is racing and you're
Yeah.
wondering what's happening.
Yeah,
Where's
so
this
then
headed?
the fire is, like, getting impatient, right? Where
Fireball!
a Kapha, the earth type, wants you to touch them slowly, but that's gonna put them even more into sleepy time. So you actually need to be a little faster with them. And the air types, you really wanna go slow and, like, try to ground them down. And so Thai yoga massages different yoga positions that you're massaging them in. And so there's different yoga positions for each type. So you can customize the massage in a few different ways just on what positions you're putting them in.
Okay, I'm definitely gonna look that up because I love getting massages.
Yeah. Thai
And
massage is great because it's like you do it with your clothes on, you're on a mat, it takes like the
mhm,
awkwardness out of it. And because you're getting stretched and massaged in the stretch, it's really resolving issues much better than a traditional like Swedish or deep tissue massage because you need the flexibility and mobility. And it's like
mhm,
this is putting your joints in different positions. So you're literally getting massaged at a lot more angles and areas than you would just laying flat on a table.
which is, I think, how you should get X-rayed as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Totally. It doesn't make any sense to just
Just as a sidebar. Makes no sense to be X-rayed in the position that you weren't injured in or don't feel the
yeah, and they really shouldn't even do it laying down. You should be standing
yeah,
at least because when are you experiencing pain? Only when you're laying down flat?
no,
No.
that's usually the least amount of pain.
Right? So it's like, why don't you x-ray me like in the actual position that causes pain so we could see?
Right. Okay, so I'm definitely gonna look up Ayurveda now. I've heard of it before from other yogis, and I knew in the back of my mind I should get into it, but I think now is the time, and I'm good with that. So I wanted just ask you a little bit more about your retreat and how, first of all, you said you wouldn't have been there or you wouldn't be there now if it wasn't safe. So how does one initiate coming to your retreat? What is it called?
El Salvador Retreat.
Straightforward
So, well, at first we tried to name it Travel to Find Yourself, and we found it just way too complicated and confusing.
keywords.
So we switched it over to El Salvador Retreat. So that's the website too. And yeah, it's really just contacting us and exploring. Like we can just jump on a call, or you can just email us back and forth, whatever works best, and finding, making sure the dates you want we have available, and then figuring out what you want. And just because you call doesn't mean you have to commit. So if you're just kind of curious and want to chat, like we're always happy to chat with people and see. But yeah, it's so safe here. And it's kind of funny, like everything you read online is just, you realize how much the news is twisted and altered.
Mm, even about certain parts of Boston or Florida, I'm like, okay, we've all heard of Florida Man and how ridiculous he is or they
Oh,
are. But there's ridiculous people absolutely everywhere.
everywhere.
It
Yeah.
just sounds funnier, I think, to say Florida Man did this. If it was like
Florida man.
Boston Man, there's that Instagram account only in Boston and I follow it and I laugh every day because it's like Sturrow Drive no matter what on what is it, September 1st, they say, "Don't bring your moving truck
The
down Sturrow Drive."
U-Haul.
Every year, more than one person demolishes their truck on Sturrow Drive. It doesn't matter where you are, every place has Florida men. It's just funnier when there's
Yeah. Well, there's alligators here. We've
yeah,
only seen one, but
if they don't wanna be
yeah.
seen. But
So
this is so great. I'm glad you found your happy place. That makes me
yeah.
happy knowing that because I know personally that I have felt drastically different in different environments and countries, and I know I have a French name. The only time I've been to France, I felt so at home. I don't know how to explain what that feeling is, but I just felt like this is where it just felt so familiar, and
Yeah.
that might sound cliche, but I'm so excited to go back there at some point and feel that again, and I've been to places and felt like, "I really shouldn't be here."
Yeah, exactly. I feel like that about Texas. Every time I've gone to Texas, I'm like, I don't like this energy here. I don't it's just
Yep.
such a strong, like, this isn't my place.
Well, it
So,
depends
it's
on the part of Texas. You'd probably like Austin, but you might not like the border.
no, there's just something like I used to work for the San Antonio Spurs and I was in San Antonio and I was in Austin. I did their Thai massage. And I had to fly to Houston a couple months ago and I spent like a few days there and I just had the same energy everywhere. It's just like not it's too
It's a
brown. It's like
vibe.
it feels very soulless to me. There's something weird about the energy there, but that's just for me. Everyone's different. So
That's a good point.
we all vibrate at different frequencies. So we're all attracted to different areas.
Yeah, I'm curious as to know why you would feel that way and, why I feel good or bad in different places, but I feel like that would take weeks to figure out at least, but
Um, there's an element of that in human design. It tells you if you're meant for like shores, mountains, valleys, caves, kitchens,
leaves.
markets. No, it's not. It doesn't mean literally in a cave, but just
Right.
smaller spaces. But yeah, Roberto is a mountain person, and I am a valley person.
And you get both in El
Thus,
Salvador.
yeah, that's the great thing. Like, it's such a small country. It's the same size as Massachusetts. And from here, we drive an hour and a half that way. We're in with the monkeys and the alligators and like an estuary. If we drive an hour a different way, we're up in the volcanoes and the rainforest and waterfalls. Drive 45 minutes, we're in a major city, like down in a valley.
You have it all.
We
It's like
really have it
England, you
all
get
here.
everything.
Yeah. I think that's why we like it so much because Roberto and I love going on adventures. So it's
Mhm.
nice to just be able to go on a short drive and be in like a totally different area with lots to see and do. We have a lot of fun.
So, are there any, for people thinking now, I need to go on this retreat with Hillary and Roberto, are there any customs that Americans should be aware of that they are different? Or you mentioned the
I'm I'm laughing because the first thing that came to my mind is that, like, all the guys pee on the side of the road here, which I find, like, the president's, like, lecturing people now. I think they're just gonna start fining them for doing that, but, like, it is super common here.
Yeah, because people are
Um,
gonna slip off the road and break their ankles,
so,
their left ankle, their right
that's a
ankles,
yeah, that's a strange
the
custom.
masculine ones.
Um, the currency here is Bitcoin or the US dollar, so that's great that you don't have to exchange any money to come. You just need
That
your
is
regular
great.
yeah, you just need your passport. There's no COVID or vaccine requirements. Everything's
Over
pretty
that.
normal. Yeah, it's done and over with. Um, yeah, there's not much to know. There's definitely different foods here. They have this thing called pupusas that they're really well known for.
In case someone doesn't know.
I would say like a corn tortilla stuffed with cheese inside of it.
Somewhat of
And
in a low type,
so
but different.
yeah, they'll put meat and veggies and different things inside of them. And they
Yeah,
can be made out of rice or corn.
so both are gluten-free
Um,
naturally.
yeah, I mean the country's a pretty gluten-free place.
Yeah,
Honestly. It's a lot of corn and sugarcane, but
root
yeah,
vegetables.
yeah, normal veggies, lots of tropical fruits that are always changing and fruits that you can't generally even buy. Like you just have to find wild. Like we have two cashew trees. When our cashew fruits are blooming, like I mean, we just have so many. Bodhi loves them. My dog eats them all the time, like always eating them. But like they're just falling from the trees in such a large amount that like we can't even keep up with them.
Oh my
And you
gosh, I
can't
would come
you
just for
can't
the
buy
cashews.
them at the fruit stands. I mean, you can buy cashews, but you can't buy the fruit.
Okay.
And so it's yeah, it's fun. There's always different fruits and even like different parts of the country. they really don't travel with their produce. So
Mm,
up in the mountains, they grow different fruits than we have down at the beach. And so
yeah.
if you want those fruits, you literally have to go up to the mountains. I am like intrigued by the fact that they don't drive them like an hour away to fruit stands to
Yeah.
sell more.
Well, you're
But
an entrepreneur. I see another business for you.
I don't need any more.
Or maybe someone
But
who comes on your retreat is looking to create
yeah.
a side hustle or
Oh,
free
yeah.
hustle.
That's actually what's really cool down here is that, like, it doesn't take a lot. It's really about sweat equity to get things started here, and it's
I
not a
love
super
that.
expensive place to be. And so it's been
Yeah.
a lot of fun to be here for a year and see, like, even the locals, how they just had, like, a tiny little shack, and now they have, like, a full-blown restaurant because it's just, like, people just slowly build and there's no real, like, permits or regulations needed. So they literally set
You
up a
just
shack on the side of
do
the
life.
road, and then as they get more money, buy chickens, and then they'll have eggs, and then they'll have cows. It's fun to, like, see people blossom and grow. There's a lot of opportunity here to do different things, and there's a pretty good expat community here of, like, Americans living here, and
Wait,
because
you
of
said
Bitcoin, a lot of people, like, our next door neighbors are from Naples. They just moved here
yeah.
a couple months ago, and that's been really fun because they're doing a lot of like community involvement improvement projects. So it's been nice to
Oh,
be
that's
able to
great.
team up with them and
Mm,
try to help the stray dogs and do all the good-hearted things to help lift up the community and support people. So we have
well,
a beach cleanup tomorrow, the beach, and we're doing another one as a retreat the first weekend in December. We're having a huge like beach cleanup retreat all weekend long. So
that
lots of
sounds like a
good
triple
stuff.
threat of awesomeness.
Yeah. And I don't know if I told you this. Our beach is where all the sea turtles come to nest. And so we are constantly releasing baby sea turtles. We released them yesterday.
I know
And
someone who wants to witness that.
it's so cool. Like now they come up on the beach in like the middle of the day, so you get to watch the whole like birthing process and burying the eggs and everything. And then we have a turtle rescue project on the beach, so we actually dig up the eggs and then bury them in a safe space so they won't get
Oh,
eaten. And then we release them. They take 45 days to hatch. It's like clockwork. They literally come out in 45 days. I put it on my calendar.
it's turtle o'clock.
And each turtle lays about 100 eggs.
Really?
Yeah,
What?
yeah. The
And how
last
many of them
one,
you usually make it?
well, most of them make it to birth, but it's only 1 in 1,000 that survive as like once they're put into the sea. When we release them, we like give them names and we start cheering them on, giving them as much
Oh,
goodness as we can to like
we're to the
encourage them.
party.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We love it, but it is like a special thing that we love to have for our guests because there's only like 2 months a year that the turtles aren't nesting. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's cool.
That's so much to look forward to. So I want to make sure everyone knows how to find you and how
Yeah.
to sign up for your retreat. You can create your own, basically.
You're really
What's the best way?
creating your own. Just go to our website, www.elsalvadorretreat.com. We're also on Facebook and Instagram, same handles, El Salvador Retreat. And yeah, you can just send us a message and we're happy to chat. You can book stuff online too. So if you just want to like book a room and do your own thing on the property, you can do that. We kind of offer things as either package or a la carte, or people can just rent the property and do their own thing without us. So it's really customized
Freedom.
exactly what you want.
Love it. So I will link Hilary's website and contact info in the show notes. She also has a website, healingwithhilary.com. I'm so excited. I'm glad we reconnected at this time. I feel like it was the right time. I've been non-creepily watching you on Facebook over the years. How many years has it even been? I don't know.
I think it's been like 20 years.
No,
No?
maybe 15, something like that. Pretty close. Yeah. I know some of my clients, they hear my voice and they're like, "Are you old enough to talk to me?" Yes. I don't know how to change my voice, but give me my
No,
resume.
I know.
But I think
Uh,
this is the second conversation of many to come between us because we have so much in common, but, the stuff we don't have in common is the best parts. So thanks, Hillary, and say hi to
You're welcome.
Joe for me. I haven't met him yet.
Okay.
I tell he's really great, and,
Yes.
say hi to your neighbors from Naples, and,
Yes.
I'll put this all together so everyone can find you, and I hope you have a great weekend.
Awesome. You too. Thank you so much. Bye.